Okay, here we go. So I had to make this video real quick because I am just super fucking pissed off. I'm reading this article. I'm extremely tired. I'm about to go to bed. Just got off work. And this article pops up. And it's from Wired.com. And it's a story about voter ID laws. And a, the title of it is A Dead Simple Algorithm Reveals the True Toll of Voter ID Laws. And they go into bashing Trump and how he believes the elections can be easily rigged. And they go into bashing states who have voter ID laws. This is so frustrating. I had to break this article down. It's not going to be a long video because it's simple. It's super fucking simple. The point is these people are missing. The key is they're missing the entire point. Okay, they claim. Well, let's tell you what they claim first. Okay, their argument is we did a simple test and found out that if you just give an address, a name, and a date of birth, that it's 98% accurate for going with the social security numbers. So basically, they're saying that if you just give those three pieces of information, it's just as good as having a social security number or a state issued driver's license or just a state issued ID. Okay? Again, they're missing the whole fucking point. The point of voter ID laws isn't because we're saying that giving those three pieces of information doesn't prove that the person's real. No, we're saying that there's no way to verify if that person who's standing there giving that information is that actual person. And they know this. See, they know this because it's a known Democratic tactic, especially in the national elections every 4 years. It's known that they get in groups of 20, 30, they all meet up somewhere, library, whatever. They all meet up and they break out the obituaries and they go through and see who's recently been deceased. Because what does it show? It shows their name, it shows their birth and when they died, and it shows their address. So they're able to go through all that. And then they go through the voter rolls and see who's still on there. Because it takes time for people who have deceased to actually be pulled off the voter rolls. So what do they then when they get the list of people who are still on there, they hand out all the information. And you got people who will go vote 10 different times in dead people's names. That's the main thing. But then also there's been reports of people who show up to vote and they say, "Oh, you've already voted." Either in this county or another county in the state. "Oh, you already voted." That's been shown to be accurate, that has happened, but it's not as we're not even going to address that. That's not even the main issue. The main issue of voter ID laws is for people who are voting in dead people's names, or they're stealing people's social security numbers and their information. They're going and voting in their name. That's the fucking point. So if you just show up and give an address, a name, and the date of birth, that's not accurate enough information. That is the point of voter ID laws. But these fuckers, they sit here in this whole article and they try to tell you it's discriminating against minorities. It's discriminating against minorities. Let's be realistic for a minute. You can't do anything in this country. You can't get a job. You can't go get a bank account. You can't uh, you can't get a loan. You can't, a payday loan. You can't do fucking anything without having some form of ID. Actually, it's usually two forms of ID. They want the social security number too, social security card. But we're just going to talk about the driver's license or the state issued ID. And they sit there and say, "Well, it's discriminating against minorities because there's a percentage of minorities who don't have that." Okay, and I'm sure it goes for white people too. There's some people who don't have that. But guess what? This is a sacred right. So sacred that you have to be a citizen, you have to be a certain age. I mean, we have laws because it's a very sacred thing, going and voting. We can't have people who aren't citizens of this country voting, and we can't have people who are too young voting. Okay? So there's laws for that already on the books, and no one argues about that. Actually, they do argue about that. See, you give an inch, they take a mile. Eventually, they're going to want to go after those laws too. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that really gets me. Here's the ass kicker of it all. Okay? The ass kicker of it all is if you're too fucking lazy to get your ass out before it's time to vote, and look, let's be real, they start talking about these national elections 2 years before it even comes up. Okay? So for the 2020 election, they're going to be talking about it this year in 2018. They're already going to start kicking it off, and you're going to hear it all day in the news. If you can't get off your fucking ass and go down to the local DMV, and it ain't even got to be a driver's license. It can just be a state-issued ID, so don't even use that as an excuse. Oh, well, some people don't drive. Okay, so that's preventing you from getting off your lazy ass and going down and getting a state-issued ID? And don't tell me, oh, well, some people can afford. Dude, it's like 10, maybe $20. Okay? I'm one of the poorest people you're going to ever meet in your life. Okay? But it's called being a functioning member of society. It's called being productive. Let's be realistic for a minute. If you're sitting on your ass and you don't have even an ID that shows who you are, then that proves you don't have a job. You don't even have a bank account. You're not putting anything into society. You're not being productive at all. You're literally, and chances are, if that's the case, you're also somebody who's sitting on your ass, letting the government pay for your food and for your housing and for all your bills. So you don't want to, and now they make it where it used to be you had to go down to the DMV or whatever. Now they make it where they send you shit in the mail. If you're not registered, they ask you, are you registered? If not, sign this little box and we're going to send you a registration card. So now you can be registered to vote. So they're making it where you don't even have to leave your house to be able to be registered to vote. That's a fucking problem. And let's be realistic. People are going to say this is mean or whatever. If you're not being a productive member of society, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. Why the hell are people who aren't doing anything for this country, they're not paying taxes because they're not working, they're sitting on their ass while we pay for them to live? And I'm all for economic safety nets. I'm all for food stamps. I'm all for that because there's people who actually need that, but it's being abused. You're supposed to use that until you find work, until you better yourself and get out of that situation. Okay? For example, what I'm doing right now in my own personal life. So I don't disagree with having these public programs. The problem is when people sit there and spend years of their life and they don't even want to leave the fucking house, but they're going to go and complain and say, well, that's discriminating against me. I shouldn't have to show an ID when I go to vote. Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Bunch of crybaby motherfuckers. You shouldn't have the right to vote. Let's be realistic about it. Why should you be able to go and tell me who represents me and who represents this country when you aren't doing a damn thing yourself? And again, it's mind-boggling. It all comes back to it's so simple. You mean to tell me you can't get down there and get you a fucking ID? If anything, people who have the right to vote should be proud that they're part of this system, and they're proud that they're part of this free electoral system. They should that they have a free choice in choosing who represents them. Well, you should take pride in that, and you should have no issue going down and getting some form of ID to protect the sanctity, the to protect the greatness that is the election. You should have no problem going down there and doing that. And they even admit in the article, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, they even admit that if you scroll down in it, they admit, oh, it's a very small percent. In a lot of places, like this was done in Texas. They were saying, well, it actually only affects like 1 point something percent, so it's really not that much. But then they go on to say, well, we speculate that in other areas where it's not so car driven, basically where they're saying where there's a lot of people that don't drive, like in major metropolitan areas, whatnot, what have you. They're saying, well, that number could be a lot higher. It could be like 10% of people because they don't have a driver's. Okay, you don't even have to have a driver's license. You can go get a state issued ID. So again, it all comes down to they want to pander and they want to try and use the minorities like they always do into saying, well, these laws are wrong. We shouldn't have these laws because it's discriminating against blacks and Latinos. Mm-hmm. No, it's because they're Democrats, and this is a known Democratic tactic. You don't see any conservatives doing this. It's known that Democrats sit around, they read the obituaries, they look over the voter rolls, they see who's still on there, and they use the public information that's public about that deceased person to go and vote in their name. Okay? Now, one last thing I want to point out is this article is done by a team. It's done by Harvard and somebody else. The other person doesn't matter. The point is, it's done by Harvard. Okay, they did this study. So what's funny is the article claims at the top that it's making fun of Trump. It's saying, well, even though it's never been proven that there's any kind of voter fraud going on, election fraud. But yet they use a Harvard study that they did, to show how the voter ID laws are discriminatory against minorities. Okay, why do I bring that up? It's funny, it's hilarious, but it's super hypocritical because they're using a Harvard study, but they don't mention to you that Harvard already did a study and it was just done with the states that released their voter records, because there's a lot of states that haven't done that. They're refusing to do it. And just out of the states that Harvard took and this is their own study, this is Harvard, your little liberal Harvard, they came out and said it's between 5 to 7 million illegal votes happened in the 2016 election. So that's more than what Trump said. Trump said it was only a couple million. They're saying it was anywhere from 5 to 7 million. So it's funny, they're selective. They're selective when it comes to their Harvard studies. See, they'll ignore that Harvard study that says, well, in the 2016 election, there was millions of people who voted illegally, or millions of votes that were illegal. Because of either it was dead people, or it was people voting in a different state, bless me, that they're not from. So, but in this article, they use a Harvard study to show how it's discriminatory. So see how they picking and choosing? They're picking and choosing. Okay? It's so fucked up. But again, overall, they're missing the point. The point of the voter ID laws isn't to show that the little bit of information you're giving is a real person. No, it's to show that you are that person. But they don't get it. They don't get that. But the truth is they do get that. They're just lying to you. They're lying, they're preying on their dumb readers and their dumb viewers. In this case, it's an article, so it's their readers. But they use these same arguments on the news, on TV, everywhere. They use these idiotic arguments. where they completely miss the whole point, and then they use that to demonize the law. And again, it all comes down to how hard is it to go get you a fucking ID? Let's be real, you can't do anything else in this society, in this country, without having two forms of ID, not just one. We're just asking for one. We're just asking for you to show up to the booth with one. And again, if you really care about this sacred right that we hold in this country, supposedly, to have free and open elections, free meaning you have to, or you have the choice to freely choose between who you want to represent you. If you really care about that as an American, which you should, again, if you're going out and voting, then you should care about that. That should mean a lot to you. And if that's the case, then why do you have an issue getting off of your ass and going a few miles away and getting a fucking ID? What's the issue with that? Well, again, after going over it in this video, you now know what the issue is. They're scared as hell because they're scared that voter ID laws are going to get passed and they're not going to be able to pull their bullshit anymore. That's what they're scared about. That's what they're up in arms about. I mean, we can go over it. We can go over the whole article. I don't even think I need to. I think I made all the points that I need to make. But up at the top, they're making fun of Trump. Making fun of Trump and his Twitter. Look, right here, the first paragraph. At the ballot box to prevent what he believes is rampant, but still unproven. Election rigging. Right there. Still unproven. Yet there's Harvard studies that were done last year that shows that he was actually lowballing. Trump was actually lowballing. It's actually a lot more than what he said. But they're not going to use that Harvard study. Oh, no. They're not going to use that. They're not going to use that study. No, see, now they're going to use Harvard. Researchers at Tufts University and Harvard. There it is, right there. And Harvard. So now you're going to use the research that Harvard did. But you won't use it to show that Trump was actually right. See, they're picking and choosing. They demonstrated that it's possible to match individuals across government databases with nearly perfect accuracy just by using a few basic identifiers like a person's name, date of birth, and address. Again, see how they're missing the entire point of the ID laws? They're missing the entire point. But it's not that they're missing it. They want you to miss it. They want to go, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the real reason for the voter ID laws. Pay no attention. It's just because it's discriminating against minorities. Oh yeah, it's discriminating against minorities. Oh yeah, oh poor minorities can't get out of their house and go down the DMV and get a fucking license or get a state ID if they don't want a driver's. Oh, woe is me. Oh, then your ass shouldn't even be allowed to vote. And that ain't being hateful. That's being truthful. If you can't even have that, you're not a productive member of society. You're sitting there on your ass, and you should not have the right to vote. And be glad it's not how it was when this country was founded, where you had to own property to be able to vote. Yeah. See, most people don't even think about that. It used to be you had to be a homeowner or you had to own land. I'm starting to think more and more we need to get back to something similar to that. The only problem is nowadays they've made it artificially, basically impossible through a couple different means to even own a home. And we're not going to get into that in this video. So that's what it comes down to. That's the breakdown of their bullshit voter ID. This whole article is just bullshit. They go into paragraph after paragraph of this algorithm that they came up with. It's all a bunch of bullshit. They make it so complicated, and they use all these little statistics, and they use all these little numbers. to show that it's discriminatory or to show that voter ID laws is a bad thing, that it's racist. Oh my God, these people, they just don't get it. But what it is they're lying to their viewers. That's what it all comes down to. So there you go. I just broke down this whole article where they're sitting there running their mouth. Literally, it just goes on and on and on. This huge article. And I read it all, and it's all bullshit. And they don't address the point. They don't address the main point, which is you can walk in and say you're somebody, and all because you have these 3 pieces of information: their name, their last address, and their date of birth. You know how easy it is to find that information on anybody? Especially if they're dead? Super easy. But they're scared they're not going to be able, they're scared that if voter ID laws become popular, that they're not going to be able to pull their bullshit scams anymore. That's what it comes down to. So again, I'm tired as hell. I just got off a long shift at work. I didn't even get a chance to take a shower or shave, so I'm probably looking like hell. Got hat hair like a motherfucker. But I just flipped up on my web browser, and this was the first thing, of course, that they put right there on Mozilla. Right there, a little article down at the bottom. Come check this out. Come check this out. And I had to click on it because just the title alone told me everything that was going to be in this article. I didn't even need to read it. I could have sat here and made this video without even reading the article because I already know the bullshit that they're going to put in there. A dead simple algorithm reveals the true toll of voter ID laws. And look at how funny is that? Look at how they word that. A dead simple algorithm. They're rubbing it in your face. See, that tells you right there. They're rubbing it in your fucking face. Because this whole article, look at how long this shit is. Look at how long this is. It just goes on and on and on. On and on and on. On and on and on and on and on. On and on and on. That whole article. Not once, not fucking once, did they mention issues with dead people, which is the main fucking point of having the ID laws. See how they do that? But for the people who are in on the know, not their dumb viewers, not their ignorant viewers, or readers, rather. No, it's for the people who really know what's going on. They put it right in your face. A dead simple algorithm. And people are going to go, oh, you're making something out of nothing there. No, they put that in the title. Think about it. They don't just title these articles anything. They think real hard about why they're titling it and how to capture people and this, that, and the other. The title says it all. They know what they're fucking doing. And they completely ignore in the whole article. They don't mention one time dead people. They don't mention it one fucking time. But they'll put it in the title of the article. It's to make fun of you. It's to slap your little bitch ass in the face. Because we got a bunch of people sitting on their ass going, oh gee, Billy Joe, I guess that really is racist. I guess we need to get rid of those voter ID laws. They don't make any sense. So you've got people sitting around who are good-hearted Americans. They mean well, but they're too damn lazy to speak out. They're too damn lazy to read shit like this and call it out for what it is. Bullshit. So it takes people like me who have had enough. I've had enough. I'm gonna make videos on every fucking thing. Every bullshit, propaganda, lie, little skewing of statistics that they do, their little algorithm that they're talking about. Anytime I see bullshit, I'm just going to pop on my fucking camera and I'm going to make a YouTube video. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to post this everywhere because it's the truth. I'm tired of this bullshit, and I'm really tired of minorities. Minorities. I'm not tired of them themselves. I'm saying I'm tired of that, hearing about that's the reason for this. That's the reason for that. Tie your hands behind your back. Try to wipe your ass. You got to do it because if you don't, it's discriminating against minorities. Everything is bad against minorities. They always use that because they're trying to pull at our heartstrings. They know most Americans are good people, and they're trying to pull at your heartstrings. That's why after every mass shooting, they come right out and say, well, for the kids, we need to ban firearms. For the kids. Because they're pulling at your heartstrings. No one likes to see dead kids, and they know that. So they're going to use that to pull at your heartstrings to get you to do something you don't want to do. Same thing with this. It's race-based politics. That's what it's called. It's race-based politics. That's all it is. And I, for one, am sick and fucking tired of it. And I'm going to call all you motherfuckers out. And any of you little trolls want to get on here, go ahead. I'm going to call you out too. I'm not afraid of your little fucking comments. Go ahead. I would love for 50,000 trolls to get on my video and try to talk shit to me. I'll battle every single one of you motherfuckers because you're all fucking lying, and I'm sick and tired of it. It's time to take America back to being legit, which it never fully was. Let's be real. There's been lots of problems with the system that we have. Hell, we've never had 100% true free capitalism. It started off as capitalism, but we never fully experienced it. It was always crony capitalism, corporate capitalism, to benefit the corporations rather than the people. Okay, to eliminate competition. Okay, so we haven't really had true free market systems. So it's the same thing with this. We've never had a true voting system, at least for a long ass time. Because now we have all these issues nowadays where we have a bunch of illegals, we have scams being run, like what we talked about in this video, where dead people are voting. Okay, people are voting in the name of dead people. We never had these issues long ago because there wasn't this level of corruption. But they know they can get away with it because there's so many people now. We'll go off their numbers, even though we know it's more. They say there's 320 million people in this country. Okay, even though we know there's more than that. There's probably upwards of 380, 400 million if you count all the illegals that have come in over the decades. So, but we'll just say 320 million. We'll use their number. Okay, there's 320 million people. There's real easy opportunity for voter fraud to be going on. For election fraud, election rigging, as they put it. Trying to make fun of Trump, using the word rigging. Yes, there is election rigging. There's election fraud, there's voter fraud. It happens all the time. It happens every election cycle, especially on the national level. On the national elections. Every 4 years, it's massive. It's reported everywhere, but only in alternative sources. You'll never hear it on CNN. You'll never hear it on Fox, phony-ass Fox News. You'll never hear it on MSNBC, CNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS. You'll never hear it on any of those motherfuckers. None of them. It's blackout coverage on all those main networks. They don't want you to hear about it. They don't even want to briefly mention it. They don't want you to know that this shit is going on. Well, guess what? I just broke it down for you. The video went a little longer than I wanted to. It's just because I get so upset. I get so frustrated because I know they're lying. I know that they know what I'm talking about. The people who wrote this article, they know. The people who wrote this article, the people who did the studying, the researchers at Tufts University and Harvard University, they know. They try to come up with an algorithm or a statistic that doesn't even address the main issue because they're diverting. They're diverting what the issue actually is off onto something else that can easily be proven or disproven in this case. And they're using that to say, oh, see, we need to get rid of these laws. We need to get rid of the voter ID laws. Instead of addressing and talking about the real reasons why we have the laws in the first place. It's a mind game. It's an information war. It's information warfare. It's a mind game. They're trying to mind fuck you into not understanding these issues the way that you truly should. And to anybody who's going to sit here and cry and say, oh, I was mean or whatever, let me tell you something. There you go. That's for you. Go fuck yourself. Okay? This is my channel. These are my videos. I'll sit here and say whatever the fuck I want to say whenever I want to say it. And I'm not afraid of any damn buddy. You got an issue, you come see me in person. Okay? I'll say it to your damn face. This is basic common sense. If you're too fucking lazy to get off your ass and go get a form of ID, which you need for everything else in this fucking... You can't even get food stamps. You can't even get food stamps. You can't even get fucking half this shit without having some form of ID. Oh, but when it comes to elections, one of the most fucking precious things that we have, because supposedly it represents freedom of our choice of elected officials, of representatives, it's one of the most sacred things we got. Oh, everything else you need that, but when it comes to elections, no, we don't need that. What are you talking about? That's crazy. That's racist. You people are fucking fools, man. And if you fall for this shit, you deserve to be lied to. You deserve to be used. Especially any of these minorities who want to sit here and cry and agree with this, even after watching this video. You deserve to be fucking used. You deserve to be used as a race-based tactic, and you deserve to be used as a pawn, just like you've been for the last 3-4 decades. You've been used as a pawn. You've been used as a voting block. That's all you are to these people. You think these people at Harvard University care about you? You think these people at Tufts University care about you? You think the Democrats care about you? They don't give a damn about you. You're just a voting block. Notice how they forget all about you until it comes to election time. Now all of a sudden they're going to pander to you again. Then you go out and vote for them, and then they forget about you until 4 years goes by. Okay? Get real. This has been Nick James, breaking down the voter ID laws and the truth about them. Peace.